In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the Jobs to be Done canvas. Okay, now it's actually one of the masterclasses where we work on the canvas in cloud-based boards together, but I'm going to introduce you to it. This is fast, 10 minutes. So when you work on product market fit, you need to speak to all the customer types. Remember, we've identified them. We want to then identify ways to help each of these customers to get their job done better and perhaps cheaper than the available substitute products. Remember that this is one of the ways you'll increase the value of products you have on the market. So we want to validate our customer problem statement as soon as possible. To validate and develop customer relationships, we will apply the Job to be Done canvas. So some tips for use. Keep in mind some key questions. Is our customer really interested in solving the problem as we see it? Have they really experienced the problem that we have an idea for? So this is really all about the all-important testing and validation of your idea. Okay, remember, following needs first approach. Hold the customer workshops. Okay, it's a good chance to refer back to your stakeholder analysis and invite different internal and external stakeholders to keep them in the loop. Apply the Job to be Done canvas with your client and the client's customers. So if you're working in an organization, then treat the employees as your clients. Okay, we used to do that when I'd work in IT. The company that I worked for, we would treat them as our clients. It's a good way to think. For example, Newledge applied this tool to the owners and managers at Simtech. Simtech was our client. Simtech invited the surgical support staff, the surgeon, and hospital administrators, their customers, right? Also, periodically apply the Job to be Done canvas to confirm your relationship with the current customer base. It's a really good activity. So let me share the screen and we'll get underway. Okay, so how to use? Well, firstly, we need to complete the custom avatar template. Okay, that enables us to start dialogue with the client. Then we identify the 4 customer types: the job beneficiary, the core job executor, the product lifecycle support team, and the purchase decision maker. If you need to revise, go back and revise this. And then we need to complete that customer problem statement, because that's what we're now seeking to validate using the Job to be Done canvas. So we've got an example here, Simtech again. Simtech wanted to understand their customers better and to develop customer relationships. So first, we applied the customer avatars template. We were able to generate discussion and reach some team consensus over who the customer is. You then presented a customer problem statement to Simtech. Now Simtech has agreed to invite some of their customers to participate in a workshop. Obviously now workshops are all live, virtual, okay? So we got a great tool. We're going to use Miro collaborative boards and I'm going to give you access to those. Simtech agreed on the customer segment to hold the workshop for. So let's switch across to our Miro collaborative board. Obviously you'll be given access to these collaborative boards because we complete them together in real time during the masterclass. So you can see that the Miro collaborative board that we've set up, the Job to be Done canvas, it starts with the customer. We want to know, what are the customer's interests? What motivates them? Remember, the context is really important. What's the context the customer is in when they're trying to execute on that job or solve the problem? What are the frustrations, emotions, obstacles that they're confronted with? What would a win look like for the customer? And as you know, that this comes directly from the customer problem statement. We've defined the core functional job to be done in the situation and context in which it's occurring. And we've looked at outcomes or metrics to determine what success would look like. The rest of this we complete in later impactors. So let's go down. Fast forwarding, pretending that we've got through our masterclass. We're working for Simtech as our client. And we've invited some of their customers. Customer name, we've filled out, Simtech. Customer segment, the surgical support staff, removing and then disposing of scalpels. Okay, you can always zero in if you want using this. So it's a fantastic tool. So let's start with the interests. What are the customer's interests? What motivates them? Remember, in this workshop, we've got a surgeon, we've got the surgical support staff, and we've got the hospital administrator. The only customer type we don't have in the workshop's the patient. So the surgeon, as core job executor, they're interested in a fast surgery because they want to keep the patient under anesthesia for the shortest time possible, right? Reduce complications. Of course, they want to perform the surgery accurately and make no mistakes. The surgical support staff are really crucial because remember that we're trying to sell and market a scalpel removal tool. So it's actually the surgical support staff who perform that part of the core functional job. Both customer types are motivated by successful surgery and proper techniques. So what are the struggles? What are the pains? What are the pains that they're going through? Well, the customer support staff, they're struggling to remove and dispose of scalpels during and after surgery. It's proving to be time consuming and often prone to error. Okay, so what would a win look like for the customer? What gets them motivated? Both customers in the room, they're motivated by successful surgical outcomes with no unforeseen events. And of course, the hospital administrators want that as well. So what does our customer problem statement look like now? Well, remember we defined the core functional job to be done. Now this was an interesting one and it's up for debate and I look forward to talking to you about it in the masterclass. Is the core functional job the surgeon operating on the patient? Or is the core functional job the surgical support staff trying to dispose of the scalpels? Okay, so we've got our verb and object. Customers are trying to dispose of scalpels. What's the situation or context they're faced with when performing this job? It's happening during and after surgeries in surgical rooms. What are the desired outcomes for solving the job? Well, the surgical support staff, they're struggling to remove and then dispose of scalpels fast and safely. So they're the two metrics that we want to help them with. Remember, we haven't discussed our solution yet. We know we've got a great solution, but we want to make sure that there's a customer need for it first. So at this early stage, this is just an introduction to Job to be Done Canvas, Miro Collaborative Board. Of course, you'll be given access to this and we'll share this in the masterclass and work on it together in real time. The rest of this we complete in customer applications and customer value and knowledge. We even come back to revisit it when we look at product design. I'll see you in the next lesson.